For some reason, I've just had this deep desire inside of me to just drive the absolute max out of my life. I started seeing life as a video game. I wanted to become the absolute best I can in absolutely everything. In spirituality, in mind, in making money, getting fitter, getting healthier. I just wanted to get best in absolutely everything. I wanted to become proficient in everything, right? And that way, I just started questioning the default path early, the systematic path, the path the government had set on us, right? I noticed how unhappy people were. I noticed how unhappy I was, right? And how miserable people seemed, how miserable my life seemed. Because that people have limited opportunities by taking on this path that the government has set for us. It doesn't make sense to do what most people do, because that would create a life that most people have, which is pretty shit. That's not a life you want, right? And the problem with the default path is the specialization and niching down, right? We are told to just focus on one dot, right? Just one small dot, rather than the line. See these all big lines that connect to the dot, right? We're told to just focus on this small thing. You can take this as, for example, we learn biology, chemistry, math, English in school, right? We go to individual classes that actually don't connect all the dots. It lacks holism, creativity, and the kind of practicality that doesn't usually get results for us, right? And that way, after school, we actually narrow our minds down further on what we think to be for the rest of our lives. We're expected as teenagers to choose an infinite path in life. We haven't even started our real life yet. How can we know what we exactly want? There doesn't seem to be a greater recipe for disaster than this one. This destroys us of our curiosity, of our creativity. A philosopher is going to ignore all the practical aspects of life because they're mostly focused on the intellectual, right? But the main question of philosophy is, how does one live a good life? If a philosopher can't build business, ease their mind, or even become a social servant, their philosophy means nothing. It's all useless. It's all gone to waste. Scientists will just throw a frog in the blender, examine its parts, they'll make a few discoveries, but not nearly as many as if they had studied it holistically. Rather than only looking at the pieces of the frog, right, you can study its environment, mating patterns, decision-making, and diet, but without ignoring one or the other. Compartmentalized learning destroys our individual potential. At birth, we're prescribed a way of life, a way to live life. And that way of living life is going to school, get a job, find a partner, try to squeeze in all the activities that make life good, retire at 65, never ever work again, right? And this involves in investing all our attention in what we deem enjoyable, and that is not enjoyable, is it? In school, we're told to pick a major. In business, we're told to pick a niche. So what do? We neglect the other areas of study, and our results suffer. Creativity is the path to wealth, mental and financial wealth, right? Because creativity requires a high level of understanding, focusing on solving specific problems. We are right now in an absolute midden of a golden age, the second golden age. And this is the time to take opportunity. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. There's so much information out there on the internet. It just becomes overwhelming. You're overwhelming yourself with information overload. There's no way you can learn everything. There's no possible chance to learn everything, but you can learn a lot. People live in this paradigm shift in this society where they're good at one thing because in the past, that's what the environment required for success. Now, success is reserved for the value creator, the specialized generalist, the new Renaissance man, the digital Renaissance man. Somebody who can study diverse interests, create value from them, and sustain an enjoyable lifetime. This is what I like to teach in the 1% Club Premium. We live in very interesting time these days. There's an abundance of information, but it's only overwhelming to those without goals or intentions behind that learning. So the creator economy emerged, and courses started becoming condensed the information into actionable business models and life advice. Content, courses, books, all like mental zip files for the modern world. It doesn't take 4 to 12 years anymore. A $40,000 in a piece of paper can make a replaceable income. But this implies the responsibility, right? Nobody is there to hold your hand with you. You have to do it yourself. I'm gonna give you 3 steps to show you how you exactly do that, right? So here's what you do. First of all, become labelless. I'm a designer, a writer, a marketer, a socializer, runner, bodybuilder, philosopher, scientist, psychologist, a polymath that knows absolutely everything, right? About their curiosity. Subscribing to one skill limits your potential freedom in every single situation. The universe is a shapeshifter, right? It's constantly flowing. The oceans evaporate, condense clouds, rains down into puddles, and then inevitably finds its way back to the ocean. This tells us that nothing is permanent. You must become the universe. The second thing, the curiosity compass. As kids, people discourage us going through the phase. You know how they say, I'm going through that phase? There's absolutely nothing wrong with experimentation. There is absolutely something wrong with conforming to the whims of others, listening to the opinions of others. That's what's wrong with you, right? Prescriptions, roadmaps, and long curriculums aren't bad, but they narrow your mind on a specific outcome, right? With that specific advice to reach that one goal, because that is all useless. But it shouldn't be treated as a one type of deal, right? That's how you get trapped in a miserable life. There's just one pattern I've noticed in both myself and those people who I aspire to be like. They don't limit what they learn to one thing, right? Do not limit yourself to learning. Expand yourself, continually expand yourself, because then everything connects to one. All the dots come rushing in, they're all gonna connect to that one dot, right? You're not gonna limit yourself. But by pursuing your curiosities, you're not only motivated to learn, but the pattern of recognition increases dopamine and solidifies your high-level knowledge. Focus on one thing, yeah, it is a great advice. But only if that one thing is big, a massive meaningful goal that requires you to focus a plethora of interests, skills, and interests just to achieve. My shiny object syndrome in business is what led to my online persona today. My branding content and the products, they're all a unique combination of my skills and interests, right? They're all like a unique blend of my interests. It's wise, yes, to become obsessively curious with one topic. Skill or interest for 1 or 2 months to add it to your mental toolbox, right? Because that's only going to increase your mental awareness. That's only going to increase your awareness of your opportunities as you experience life. The more you learn, the more opportunities you have. And that opportunity could be expanded to making more money, becoming fitter, becoming healthier, right? It all just connects. Because when you niche down for too long or too far, what you do is you become a glorified search engine that lacks depth and personality. Invest in your education. In this life, you only own one thing: your mind. Everything else can be taken away from you except your mind. Your mind is the only thing you own and you have the right to own. There is one thing which the school system did right, which is to get consistent daily education in the hopes of a better future. But schools, they don't prioritize curiosity. So most people hate learning by their time. They hate learning by themselves when they graduate because the school system just conditioned them like that. But learning is the foundational human experience. You need to hammer that into your head. Hammer into your head that you must be learning something. I don't care what you're learning. Just every single day, just continue on learning and learning. No matter if it's for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 hours, 6 hours, right? Because your future depends on it. If you don't even learn about them in the first place, if you don't even get the right tools necessary to equip yourself to experience those experiences, how are you going to act on those opportunities if you don't even know how they exist? Because when you stop learning, your life stops progressing. You stop progressing, you stop growing. Life gets mediocre. Life gets repetitive. You become a mechanical and robotic life. A human being that's useless. We've talked about learning a lot, but learning means nothing if you don't know building. You need to learn how to build. By building, I don't mean some just like people that make houses or make like big towns, right? Building on your learning, and I'm going to teach you exactly that in the next few minutes. I've always carved out time to build something I'm really passionate about. You can think about that with my school community, my agency, right? Schoolwork, client work, projects assigned to me, right, from school that weren't necessary, but didn't get me the fulfillment I was looking for, right? They did not fulfill me. When your focus is like centered, double down to the one thing which you're building, all the information you're exposed to is filtered through that lens. So in one way, all the information you consume, and then when you just double it down on a project, right, it gets filtered through that lens. It's going to help you in some way or another, even if it's not relevant to it, right? The source of learning is through struggle, not memorization. Learning is not about memorizing things, because you must encounter a problem, discover the solution to the problem, and then integrate it to your life. That's what learning is. Ultimately, to identify a problem, you need a goal. To solve a problem, you need to create a solution. To create a solution, you need a big project that requires all your focus and attention for the next 1 to 6 months. And when I say project, it must be measurable. I see people that have projects like make money online. That's not a bloody project. How is that a project? I can make $1 online and say I've done my goal. It has to be measurable and it has to be documented. Either through school.com, other platforms, YouTube. It has to be measurable and documented. And no, it doesn't have to be a physical product or physical project. It can be just a massive project you're just working on, right? It can be as simple as, tracking your food, tracking your weight, or researching about fitness to improve your progress, right? That's what that is. Let's start right there, right? So the first step is to build big irrational goals and have small rational steps. Big goals are better than small goals because they give us bigger vision, they give us a larger vision, they give us motivation. And long-term focus, macro focus is necessary to see them through. when you embark on a journey, right, to becoming multi-dimensionally jacked, to become proficient in all areas of life, what I want you to do is create a big goal for the main pillars of. So one of the main pillars of your life is mind. So an example of that could be, how do you want to handle emotions and stress? Do you want to have the same mediocre mindset as everyone else, right? You probably don't. Body, another big pillar. How do you want to look and feel? Does it impact other areas of your life, such as how people perceive you or throw opportunities to you, right? Another big pillar, spirit. Do you feel like your life lacks meaning, wonder, fulfillment, purpose, right? Do you feel like your life is happening to you all at once, or that you're actually flowing with life? Another big one is business. How much money do you want to make? Why do you want to make that much money? Why do you want to make 10K a month? Why do you want to make 100K a month? Do you want to make money to pursue a purpose or whatever? I highly just encourage you guys, just take 10, 20 minutes out of your day, right? Just writing about this in a journal, typing this on a journal. I'm going to be posting this in my school community if you guys would just want to check this out. How does that impact your life, right? But the main problem is that people stop here. That's the main problem. You want to continue mentally masturbate over their goals and actually never take progress. They never make progress towards their goals. That's why I created step number 2, which is you need to outline a project for each domain of life. The goal is what vision? The vision is the why, and the project is the how. Now that you have a vision and motivation towards your goals, you need to gain some clarity. Projects have goals, processes, priorities, they just knock you out on a daily basis. What can you do every single day that will actually move the needle forward towards your goals? What's just one small action you can take? What aspects of your goals do you want to educate yourself on to make better decisions? How can you document your progress in a way that keeps you motivated to come back tomorrow? I want you to grab a pen and a paper right now. I'll grab one as well right now. I'll show you. Get a bloody pen and a paper. I want you to write these things down, okay? I want you to create a simple project for each goal. First of all, I want you to write down the milestones. Write down tangible milestones for each with realistic timelines. You want to have realistic timelines. You want to be able to measure these goals. Next thing, I want you to write down the variables. Write out each variable that will help you achieve that goal. For example, it could be health, nutrition, sleep. For business, it could be products, traffic generation, content, right? Next thing, principles. We want to write down the priority actions that will actually move the needle forward, that will actually help you make progress. And then finally, the skills. The skills that you need to acquire to actually realistically achieve that goal. Doing this activity will bring you 10 times more clarity towards your goals and towards changing your life. Trust me when I say that. The third step in doing this is you want to start, then you want to learn. If you want to learn faster, don't start learning. Because what I recommend is you want to outline a project, start building it out, and then learn along the way. Because when you're learning along the way, you actually get to implement it. You get to practically implement your learning. Not like most people who mentally masturbate on learning. They learn for 6 hours a day. They learn from courses they spend 1K a month on, right? They spend money on so many courses. They learn from them, but they don't actually implement it into their lives. It's just mental masturbation. And too many people get stuck in this hell. In this mental masturbation hell, stacking up absolutely useless knowledge, and it all contributes to your brain fog. It destroys your brain. I want you to start to encounter a problem, experiment with different techniques to solve that problem, right? For example, I'll give you a quick example. When I was learning Adobe Photoshop, right? I would try and learn everything about the software before I was starting, and that just confused me. It confused my brain. My brain was hurting. I couldn't understand it because when I started, I knew jack shit. I knew nothing at all, right? I had to supplement. I had to try different tutorials, like specific tutorials or videos that say create videos with me, right? And just follow along with them, right? And that's exactly what worked for me. That helped me create better thumbnails. And what in result, this is what I realized. I realized that there is more than one way to solve a problem. If you think there's one way to solve a problem, you're wrong. There's so much more ways to solve a problem. I'll just give you a quick example on Photoshop. If I wanted to remove something from the background, if I wanted to remove that painting from the background, right? Something that's complex as that. I could either do it with a pen, a tool, color channels, color ranges, or even quick select on Photoshop, right? Quick select is what everyone does, but it often leads to the worst results, like not clear, right? But you want to keep this in mind when you're researching everything. If anyone can solve the problem with easily accessible information, there's probably a better way of doing that. That will actually give you a competitive edge over your competition. If I use quick select to remove that, see that painting in the background? Everyone knows that, right? It's not going to come out as best quality, right? And the thing is that when there's one way to solve a problem and everyone knows about it, it often doesn't really lead to the best results. There could be other ways to solve a problem with better results. I want you to keep that in mind. Write that down on a piece of paper. Now, I'm not saying that you should keep learning unless you have a problem. It's actually quite the opposite. You highly encourage you to get into a habit of general education. Every single day, just 10 to 30 minutes minimum, right? Just immerse yourself in information related to goals. This could be YouTube videos, best-selling books, podcasts, going on walks and just listening to podcasts, right? Just consume information that will actually help you progress towards your goals. After you've done that, I want you to design your lifestyle through habit formation, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. The difference between who you are right now and who you want to become is in the habits that make your lifestyle. It's in the habits that compose your lifestyle. Just think about it. Do mentally, physically, and financially fit people, jacked people, right? Do they just wake up with the best mind, best body, and best business one day? Of course not, right? Or do they have tiny actions, just tiny 1% actions that they do on a daily basis that help them maintain their progress and build towards a better future? 1% better every single day. That's what the compound effect is. Most people will tell you to stop playing video games, stop going out, stop distracting yourself. I agree with that, but I also don't agree with that, right? Because I still go out with my friends, right? It's part of socializing. Maybe I just stay up a little. Maybe I sacrifice 1 or 2 nights of sleep, maybe each month, right? The reason I still outpace 99% of people my age is because I front load my mornings with needle moving tasks. I front load my mornings with tasks that help me progress to my goals that no one else does, right? I know not everyone can do this because of time constraints, but neither could I do it in the past, right? As soon as you start getting results from your efforts, you start becoming more efficient at what you do because time's gonna free up. And this is just one quote I really love, right? Whenever you're in doubt, waking up an hour early just unlocks the distraction-free time that will help you solve most of your problems. I hope you enjoyed this video and it provided you with some valuable insights on how you can get out of the mediocre life and start living your life today.